Today I'm going to be cooking a slow cooked lamb curry, and these are the ingredients that I'm going to need. I've got 3 large onions, 2 tomatoes, 1.5 pounds of casserole lamb which has been trimmed, and that's from my local butcher. Spices, I've got salt, cumin, coriander powder, turmeric, garam masala, chilli, and that's my own homemade curry powder which I'll be using for an extra depth. Then I've got ginger, garlic, this is turmeric and I'll be putting a small piece in, that's fresh turmeric. 4 chillies, again which I'll be slicing them lengthways and they'll be remaining whole. I've got some tomato puree and 600 millilitres of water. I've put half a cup of oil in the pan, and the onions I've sliced them, and again it seems like a lot of onions, but I'm going to cook this right down and I'm going to brown them. I've put a bit of lamb fat in here which has been trimmed off the meat, and all I'm doing is just getting a bit of fat out of this, and I've been adding it to the onions, just a little bit more flavour. Just got a bit more colour in there. I've taken the bit of fat that I put in just to fry the onions with, just an additional flavour, and you can see the onions now, they're nice and brown, and I'm just going to put in ginger and the garlic and cook those through. I've taken the onions out of the pan now and put them to one side, they're nicely browned. And this is the meat, and I'm going to use just batch this by using half of the meat into the frying pan. And what I'm looking to do is to fry that now at a really high heat, and I want to get some colour on all the lamb. Give it a good colour in. Right, I've now browned the second batch of lamb, and this is the first batch with the onions. So that's all going back into the pan now. Make sure we take all the juices, we don't leave anything in there. All that goodness. And give this all now a good mix. Right, you can see here now that all the onions and everything is well browned, and it does look a great colour, and there's plenty of flavour in there. We've got a lot of caramelisation on the meat. So just going to add some salt. There's all those spices, but I've just put the salt in at the moment of the spices. And I'm just going to give that a mix. Mix all that in. And now we're ready for the rest of our spices. That's starting to smell really good. And I've got the fresh turmeric, I'll just grab that. Put this in. That's the fresh turmeric, and we chop that up. That's just a little bit of an optional extra. We've already got some ordinary turmeric in, that turmeric powder I should say, but we're just putting that as an optional. You can really smell it now, it's really coming together. All those flavours. Right, just get the tomato puree. Puree's gone in. and some water, just to bring that together a bit. The rest of the water will go into the slow cooker. That's bubbling up quite nicely, and what I'm doing now is just 1 tablespoon of sugar, and that's just to counteract the acidity of the tomatoes. And I'll just put that in, mix that together, and that'll be it then. We'll be ready to put that into the slow cooker, or into the crock pot for the slow cooker. That's right. There's our pot. Right, the mix now has gone into the slow cooker, and I just turned the slow cooker on to high, and I'm adding the rest of the water. We said 600 millilitres. If you do require a bit more, I mean, this will thicken up, but if you did require to make it a bit thinner, you can, but it will thicken. So that's gone in there. Right. We've got, there's our green chilies. They're going in. There's the 2 chopped tomatoes. I've got some garlic ready to go in as well, so I'm just going to give that a stir. Concentrate that in there. That looks great. And I've chopped some more garlic, and these are just 2 extra cloves. And I'm going to put these like this, and I'm just putting this on the top, and that'll melt into the curry. When that's cooking, that'll just dissolve slowly and give it a lovely rich flavour. So I'm going to put the lid on now, and I'll come back approximately every hour just to give it a stir, and I would say it's going to be roughly 3 hours to 3.5 hours, and it's cooking on high. The lamb's been cooking in the slow cooker now for 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm just going to check it. I have come back every hour, and all I've done is just give it a whole stir, and you can see it there. That's lovely and thick, and the lamb is nice and tender, and there's a beautiful aroma coming off this curry. So I'm just going to put that on to warm now, the slow cooker. Keep the lid, put the lid firmly back on, and that's all ready now to dish up. And now the good bit, now I'm ready to dish up. So that's just left on warm. I've left 1 chilli in there. I've got some homemade paratha, which is an Indian flatbread. And an onion salad. And a mango chutney to go with it. So there we have it. Lamb curry, done my way. Enjoy.